So let's have a little chat, shall we? Let's have a little occult chat. This is your host, the Occult View. So let's have a little chat. Donald Trump won the US presidential election. As I kind of suspected deep within my molecular DNA that he would. But let me tell you why he won. I'm going to tell you why he won. Donald Trump won because, as much as people do not like him, as much as people have personal issues with him, Donald Trump listens to the people. He listens to the people. He has an ability to listen to the people. When he went to that McDonald's and he was serving customers French fries out of the drive through window, when he did that, I knew then, I looked at that, I knew then he was going to win the presidency. I didn't want to say anything, but I knew then he was going to win the US presidency because that shows humility. And that shows, whether people believe it was sincere or not, that shows the media genius that Donald Trump that he is. I'm not a Donald Trump fan, but I'm not going to lie on him. And I'm not going to lie on the president. When he was in office, despite everything that was going on, when he was in office, my pockets were fatter. Grocery prices were not so extreme that when you went into a grocery store, you come out with two bags, that's over $100. Like, where are we living? What type of twilight zone is this? You know? But going back to that McDonald's thing, I knew he was going to win when he went to that McDonald's because it shows humility and it shows a humbleness and it shows that he can relate to your average person. I think Kamala Harris would have made a good president, excuse me, but I just don't think she had the right energy around her to succeed in that endeavor. The Democrats don't listen, and that's why they lost. You weren't listening to the American people when they told you that you have allowed, and I'm going to go down the list because I've made these complaints too. You didn't listen to the American people. Before I get into that, let me say this. Congratulations to President elect Donald Trump. He is the president now. Well, he's the president elect. Congratulations. I have no intention of speaking negatively about the president at all. He is our president. And I think in 2016, I really did not like him. But I'm in a different place now. 8 years is a long time. It's a very long time. So I'm in a different place than what I was in 2016. In 2016, I was depressed. I felt oppressed. I was dealing with a lot of grief. I was dealing with a lot of emotional pain because I had lost a good friend of mine. You all know who I'm talking about, Christopher Barry. So at that time, I felt so alone in this world. I felt powerless. I did not feel like I could survive. And that was my journey and my song. But guess what? I'm still here because I made myself great again. No, I did not vote for Donald Trump. I voted for Kamala Harris. But I voted for her only because, not because I hate President Trump. It's just that there were things that, or people that backed him up that I had an issue with, like Elon Musk and Hulk Hogan. So those were the reasons that I voted for Kamala Harris. But I don't have any ill will towards President Trump, you know? And let me say this too. There have been a barrage of racist text messages that have been going around targeting Black Americans. And I do not believe for 1 minute that it is connected to anyone connected to President Trump. That's what they're trying to make it. But I don't believe that because I'm smarter than that. I think that this is a ploy and a setup to try to make people go against the president. He hasn't even assumed office yet. He has not officially been inaugurated or sworn in. So, yeah, I don't think that that is connected. That's just my personal belief. I think that there are people trying to stir the pot already. Here is a president, and I got to keep it real. I got to keep it real. Like I said, this ain't 2016. This is 2024. I do a lot of spell work for certain things. I'm not gonna get into that. I'm not gonna get into that. I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that on the side. Let's just say this. Congratulations to President Trump. And I'm gonna leave it like that. The Democrats were not listening to people. They were not listening. People kept telling them your policies are causing your average American. It is causing us grief, suffering, and poverty. Now, fortunately for me, even though my pockets are not as fat as they were back then, but fortunately for me, I've always been able to manage because I do spell work. I do spell work, and that's what keeps me afloat. I did spell work back during that time as well in 2020, 2019, or whatever the case may be. So when you know how to do spell work and you know how to manipulate the quantum and manipulate, reality, you know how to make things work for you no matter what's going on around you in the pseudo reality. And the pseudo reality is the reality that someone else creates, but you're inside your own bubble in reality, and they don't really have an effect on you in that way. You get what I'm saying? So even though whatever goes on in the pseudo realities, which are distractions and interferences, I have my own reality that I can manipulate using my own spell work and whatever it is that I do. But that's my business. The Democrats were not listening to people. We told you about how you have allowed criminals, and I'm not going to, and let me be clear. I'm not beating up on Mexicans and Latino people. I'm talking about the criminals right here in the American justice system. I'm talking about the criminals and the bad people who they have given passes to. Okay, the ones that I see, the Mexicans and Latinos, I see them working. I see them going to work. I see them working hard. I see them delivering, and I'm not saying this to be derogatory, but I see they are working class people. I see them delivering my groceries from Instacart. I see them doing construction. I see them doing a lot of work. You feel what I'm saying? They're working. They're making money. So I can understand why a lot of them probably did vote for Trump. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about these motherfucking niggers. And I don't give a fuck who gets mad. That I see they don't work, they have no side hustle, causing mischief everywhere they go. They're disgruntled, they're bitter, they're angry, they're mentally ill. Like, for example, I was taking care of some business the other day. I go to the place where I'm taking care of business. Some Negro, he looks like a bum, basically. A bum, dirty ass fucking shoes. He looking all up in women's faces like they want him, bothering people, harassing people. That's what you motherfuckers do. And that's because the government has made it easier for them to do that. Criminals, drug addicts, drug dealers, to avoid jail, they'll say, well, I have a mental problem. I want to try to, to avoid jail, I want to go into a psychiatric institute and say that I have mental problems. And then they give them food stamps, government checks, government housing, so they can go into neighborhoods and terrorize law abiding citizens. But then when law abiding citizens exercise our rights, oh, you used excessive force. Oh, you're a racist. Oh, you did this. Oh, you did that. But wait a minute. They cover up that this person was harassing and bullying people. Just like that guy that was harassing people on the New York subway. And then that Marine or former Marine intervened because he was threatening people and harassing people and grabbed him and put him in the hold. And people are upset saying he used excessive force. Well, what people don't know about that young man that he did that to, he had been harassing people. He had attacked an elderly woman and an elderly man, not on the train during that incident, but prior. So, what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to be like sitting ducks and just let these people attack us? We're not supposed to say anything? Oh, we're supposed to be quiet because they're black people. They're other blacks like me. And we're not supposed to say anything because that's against code. Right? Right? And then you wonder why Trump won the re-election. You wonder why. This is why he won. Because Trump is for the American people, according to the people that voted for him. And I have to say, it surely looks like that, doesn't it? And I know a lot of people have strong emotions about this, but everything is spiritual. It is. Trump spoke to people's spirit because he said, in so many words, and I'm paraphrasing, that the spirit of America is dead and I'm trying to bring it back to life. That is what the slogan of Make America Great Again is all about. Bringing America back to life, where we can feel safe, where we can feel comfortable, where we can go to the grocery store and afford the things that we enjoy to eat, where we don't have to worry about psychopathic people harassing us in our homes, sitting outside in front of our windows, blasting their radios in their cars. Who sits outside at 2 o'clock in the morning? And I don't care what race you are. Who sits outside at 2 o'clock in the fucking morning blasting their radio like this, like these people in this building behind me? Who sits outside 2 and 3 in the what tormented person who cannot go in the house, go to sleep, be quiet? Who does that? But we're not supposed to say anything about those types of things. Your neighborhood is not supposed to be loud. Your neighborhood is not supposed to be chaotic. Neighborhoods are supposed to be quiet and peaceful. Now, of course, there's going to be noise. There're going to be children playing. There, we get all that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about disturbing people. I'm talking about harassing people. You know, harassment is not always in your face. Harassment can be subliminal. You can harass people sometimes and not even know it. Some motherfucker's always in this back fucking parking lot blasting his radio. I know it's a guy. I know it is. Because men do shit like that. Most women are in the house getting ready to go to work the next day or with their children. You know it gotta be some motherfucking nigga probably just getting off work. And I get it. But why do you have to blast your radio so the entire neighborhood can hear it? That is inconsiderate, it is disrespectful, it is disturbing, and it is a form of harassment. But because they defunded the police for non politically correct reasons, I'm sorry, for politically correct reasons, now that they've defunded the police department and they've labeled every white male police officer as being a racist and a problem, they can't do their jobs. They have to be lily livered. They have to have restraint. I look at some of these crime shows, and not crime, they're not television shows. Some of these crime channels on YouTube, that's a better way to describe them, where they are catching people in criminal acts. And I feel so sorry for some of those white police officers. You know why? You know why I feel sorry for them? Because they have to put up with the crazies. They have to show restraint because if they use too much force, they'll be looked at as a racist. And this is not condoning any type of injustice against black people. But some of these black people, the ones that I'm thinking of, I'm not talking about the ones who've lost their lives unjustly. I'm not talking about that. But some of these black people, some of their asses need to be fucking locked up. You come into a neighborhood disturbing the peace, harassing people with your mentality. For example, I have a neighbor. He smokes marijuana all the time. And it comes into my apartment. I'm not a smoker. I'm not anti-marijuana, but I am anti. I don't want, how can I put it? I am anti, I don't want to smell your shit. It's seeping into my apartment, right? And he's mad because, not me, I haven't said anything. He's mad because people on the floor that he lives on, because this person lives below me, but I can smell his marijuana when he smokes it. And he's angry because the people on the floor that he lives on, they're complaining against him. And he talking about why everybody picking on me. I ain't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. Yes, you did. You fucking liar. You're smoking marijuana in your apartment when you know that this is a non-smoking building. And that disturbs and it infringes on somebody else's peace of mind. But y'all wonder why Trump got reelected. You wonder why there's a push to make America great again. And before we can make America great again, we need to make ourselves great again on an individual, molecular, cellular, DNA, genetic level. We need to make ourselves great again. Having integrity, respecting your neighbor, showing compassion when you can, being proactive in helping people that you know need help. That's part of a spiritual journey as well, or spiritual work as well. People don't understand that. Being kind to people, being generous with those people who deserve it, being a giving person. I'm not talking about giving, sacrificing yourself, but when you know someone needs something, someone that you love and someone that you care about, of course, you give it to them. I don't care if it's $10. Just to open up that frequency and vibe of prosperity. That's how you make America great again too. Along with the political stuff and all that stuff. That's above my pay grade. I don't deal with that. Donald Trump talked to the heart of the people. When he went to McDonald's, even though I did not vote for him, I almost did. But when he went to that McDonald's, that touched my heart. I said, here, this is Donald Trump. They have called this man everything under the sun. They've called him a pervert. They've called him a racist. They've called him this. They've called him that. And I said, here he is delivering French fries to people who drive through the drive-through. If I was at that McDonald's, I don't really eat McDonald's like that. I don't eat McDonald's at all, as a matter of fact. Um, but if I was in the drive-through and President Trump did that, and I had that interaction with him, I probably would have voted for him. The things he is saying, I have to even admit to myself, are not untrue. America has become a trash bag. But it's not, and let me be clear, this is where the line is going to get a little fuzzy. I don't blame immigrants for that because the people that live here, we have had a long time to contribute to the trash that is in America. You can't blame Mexicans and Latinos and immigrants for that. You can't blame them for that solely. You cannot do that. That is wrong. There are enough people in this country. There are enough people in this country who have contributed to the trash that we see, and that includes black people and white people. Just like the person who lives under me, who is so disrespectful to the people around him. You get off on that particular floor, as soon as you get off the elevator, all you smell is marijuana. But you wonder why they reelected Donald Trump. They have loosened up these laws to benefit criminals, to benefit dangerous people. And I know what some people are going to say, well, Donald Trump was a convicted felon. Okay. But Donald Trump speaks to the heart of the people. And that's why they voted him back in. You never saw Biden, just being honest. And I voted for him too, but I'm just being honest. You never saw Joe Biden, You never saw him go to any place like that and show his humbleness. You never saw him doing anything like that. And I'm not going to get into this too much, but I know some. Well, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody. My aunt, who has money, she knows somebody that actually worked with Joe Biden personally. Okay, she knew somebody that worked with him personally. And guess what? They didn't have a lot of good things to say about him. And this was years ago, probably late 90s, early 2000s, prior to him becoming the vice president. But in 2020, a lot of people were, really disgusted with Donald Trump and everything that was going on at the time. But like I said again, I'm gonna say it again. Now that I see things clearly, you couldn't really blame Donald Trump for that. People do what they want to do, and people say what they want to say. They're going to always be disgruntled, diseased minded people. And then you wonder why they voted him back in office. They voted him back in office because he knew the right things to say. And just maybe, just maybe, and this is a big maybe, I could be wrong. I'm willing to be wrong, but just maybe. Maybe the reason they're trying to stop him or try to stop him from getting back into the president, into the White House rather, is because maybe Donald Trump is about getting rid of all of these rich liberal lobbyists and rich liberal, what do they call them? Elitist, who don't do anything for the people. Their interests are more involved with doing things for people over in Ukraine and Israel and South Korea. The United States has been invested in their well being while our infrastructures go to shit in a handbasket. But you wonder why they elected or re elected President elect Trump. Criminals, I'm not talking about immigrants, I'm talking about criminals. Weirdos and creeps have taken over the country. They have. And when people speak up about it, you're labeled as a problem because we're supposed to be like sitting ducks. You see somebody doing the most atrocious things, and we're not supposed to say anything. And then on top of that, the Democrats use the LGBTQ community to further push agendas, making us look crazy, making us look like that we're supporting and going along with some of these agendas that involve children, which I do not. I don't fuck with children. I don't mess with people's kids. I don't fuck with kids. I think parents should be able to raise their children how they want to raise them. That's none of my business. As long as you raise them as respectable, honorable kids. And no, I do not think parents should raise their children to specifically be gay. No, I do not. If your child is going to be gay, then they're going to be gay. But if your child is going to be straight, they should be straight. And there should not be any influencing of that. That's how I feel as a gay Black American. And I'm not taking it back. Leave people's kids alone. That's where the Democratic Party went wrong too. You kept fucking with people's children up in these schools and trying to push these agendas using these agent NISC LGBT people, having drag queens half dressed reading books to children. My niece and nephew are in their, how old are they? My nephew's in his early 20s. My niece is probably about 18 or 19. I don't even think they know that I'm gay because my sexual orientation is none of their business. If they ask me, they're adults. If they ask me, I'll tell them the truth. But when I used to babysit them when I was when they were younger, the only thing that they knew was that I was their uncle and I fed them cookies and ice cream and gave them all the goodies they wanted. They could stay up late and, we played video games. That's the only thing that they knew about me. I did not allow any men to come visit me or anything when I watched my niece and nephew. I didn't want to influence them in any conceivable way. And this is not, let me say this as a disclaimer. Fuck you, homophobes. I'm not talking to you because you motherfuckers are going to hate no matter what, which most of you are probably undercover gay anyway, but that's not what this conversation is about. It's about decency. Because just because a person says, I don't want my child influenced by certain things, that does not make them homophobic. It is okay for a parent to say that. That's not intolerance. That's having a certain standard for your child. What I do is my business. I'm a grown man. But I am not going to influence somebody's child. And that is why I was adamant about not having any evidence around me that I was gay when I was watching my niece and nephew. Because I didn't want to influence them improperly. Because they're children. And the only thing they need to be exposed to is cartoons, cookies, ice cream, having fun, playing video games with their uncle. That's it. That's it. And y'all wonder why. You wonder why Donald Trump was reelected. You wonder why. I'm not wondering why. Of course, election night, it's like a game to me. If you if you're on the blue team, you want the blue team to win. If you're on the red team, you want the red team to win. You know what I mean? But the whole fucking map then went red. They thought it was going to be a blue wave. But you have disrespected, the Democrats have disrespected the consciousness of their constituents. They didn't listen to us. We kept telling you there was a problem with crime. Look at DC. I live in Prince George's County, but look at that's Maryland. That's basically a suburb of DC. But look at DC. The mayor in DC, she will not take any accountability for all of the crime that's going on in DC. That's Muriel Bowser. She won't take any accountability of the crime that's going on in her city. Whenever she's questioned about it, she gives half ass answers. And that's why they're getting voted out. DC is a mess. I was in DC, like I told you, to take care of some business the other day, that same day. Excuse me. I was in downtown DC, um, Gallery Place in Chinatown, for those people who know where that is in DC. There was a homeless man with a blanket sitting on the ground next to the stoplight, right there by Gallery Place, the metro station. I was catching a lift, but I saw him. I said, wow. And the energy of DC just feels really eerie now. It feels dead, like the spirit of the city is dead. It doesn't have that soulful feeling anymore. You know what I'm saying? It just feels dead. DC stands for Dead City. And y'all wonder why. You wonder why Trump won the presidential election. The Democrats didn't listen. We kept telling you crime was out of control. We kept telling you that you're letting the wrong people. How about this? If they can let people keep talking about Donald Trump as a convicted felon, here we go. If they let out, if they let a person out of prison who was supposed to do 30 years, they let him out 20 years early because he went to jail in 2015 and they let him out in some type of special program, some type of what do they call that? Re Rehabilitation program where they try to rehabilitate the prisoner. They let him out of prison early. If they did that for him and he was a convicted felon, then why wouldn't they do that for President Trump? And then y'all wonder why he got reelected. Y'all keep calling him a convicted felon. Well, now convicted felons have more rights than law-abiding citizens who don't have a record. So why wouldn't President Trump get reelected? And that ain't no shade to President Trump. I'm just making sense of how people think. Because I heard them say on The View that this man is a convicted felon. He caused an insurrection, etc., etc. Truth be told, Trump didn't cause that insurrection. President Trump didn't cause that. That has been brewing for a long time because people are tired of injustice. Those white boys, they're tired of you ignoring them. They're tired of you ignoring them. I'm tired of you ignoring me. There were some black people down there too. We're tired of being ignored. We're tired of our needs being pushed to the side so you can push to the forefront nonsense. We're tired of that. Those white boys were making a statement, and I'm only referring to them as white boys because that's mainly who it was. Like that one, what do they call him? The QAnon. He was good looking too with that bull's head on. What the horns and all that. Whatever. You know, people are tired of that. They're tired of this liberal elitism. And then you wonder why Donald Trump was reelected. You wonder why. I'm not going to sit here and lie just because I voted for Kamala Harris. I'm going to tell the truth. And now, as a result of you all not listening to the people and not speaking to the heart of the people, see, the problem, this is the problem. The Democrats, they speak to your intellect. But what's going to win you votes and get you reelected is when you speak to the heart. And you all don't speak to the heart. And that's the problem. Kamala tried to do it. She did the best that she could do in the little bit of time that she had to do it. Remember, Trump has been working on his campaign for a decade versus her 3 months. He's had a lot more experience in media management. And now he has hired the first female chief of staff of the White House, Susie Wiles, and girlfriend looked like she don't play. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted because this motherfucker is smoking marijuana right now and I smell the shit. And the shit is distracting me. But see, then we wonder why Trump gets reelected. Oh, and then this motherfucker got the nerve to be mad because they may be putting him out because he's violating the no smoking. rule in the building. But everybody's picking on him, right? And then you wonder why Trump is getting reelected because nobody likes to follow rules and regulations anymore, especially black people that I live around. None of these worthless motherfuckers like to follow rule. And yeah, they are worthless, not because they're black, but because of their actions. They don't like to follow rules. They don't like to follow regulations. They have no self worth. They have no consciousness, not because you want to smoke weed, but it's the fact that you disrespect other people around you when you know you're not supposed to be doing it in the fucking house. You have a card. This motherfucker claims to have a weed card. He can go outside and smoke, but he don't want to do that. He wants to disturb and disrupt other people's happiness. But then they defunded the police. And then y'all wonder why Trump got reelected because we're tired of people like him. People are tired of people like him being able to get away with shit, not following rules and regulations, lying, scheming, being fraudulent. You're here on a Women of Prayer anyway. You're fortunate enough to get into a nice place to live. And what do? You ruin it. And then you wonder why. And this may sound a little bad, but I'm being honest. A lot of you niggas wonder why white people don't want to live around you. But I get tired of being lumped up in the same category with some of you. That's not being white, that's telling the truth. And then you wonder why Trump got reelected. You wonder why. But the truth of the matter is, all races of people like me, no matter where I go, all races of people have respect for me. And I'm not saying that like I'm all this and that. No, but I'm just examining self because I said I get tired of being lumped up with the no. They don't want me up with you. That's only in my mind. All races of people like me and can resonate with me. Blacks, whites, Indians. Not because I'm black, but because I'm a person and I have a consciousness. And I don't do things to consciously hurt people. If I hurt somebody that's an enemy, then yeah, I'm consciously doing that to hurt you. Fuck you. But if it's somebody that I really like, I try my best not to hurt that person. That's why when me and my dude be getting into it, I don't like that. And I try to explain to him, why do you want me to be your enemy? When we've gotten into it, I said, why are you putting me in a position? I've had to say that to my mother. Why would you put me in a position where I'm going to have to come at you because I'm not going to die sacrificing myself for no fucking body? Why would you put people in a position that you're supposed to love? Why would you put me in a position if there's something going on in the air? If there's something that's not going right with you, why not just say to me, hey, Seer, I'm going through something right now. I don't mean to take my frustrations out on you, but I'm going through a lot right now. That's all you got to say. But to walk around with this chip on your shoulder, like something is wrong with you, like my friend was doing, he's not doing it right now. But the way he was acting and the reason we kept having differences, now I know why. But all he had to do was talk to me. Just talk. You have a mouth, you have a brain, speak. Heart, mouth, brain, speak. And then we wonder why Trump is getting reelected. Because that's exactly what the Democrats did as well. They kept walking around with chips on their shoulders. Joe Biden called Trump supporters trash. Did you really think that would help Kamala Harris get elected? You called them trash because of some stupid, ignorant Parts of the MAGA people, if you want to call them that, do stupid, disgusting things. So you call all Trump supporters trash. You're supposed to be the president for everyone. And you want Trump, and you wonder why, excuse me, Trump got reelected. Don't make me your enemy. You know what I'm saying? Don't make me your enemy. Because you don't you just don't you a lot of people, you ain't ready for that. You ain't ready for that. And that's not to scare anybody. But sometimes I scare myself because my fury can be very, it's just not a good, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. I am not the person you want to cause problems with. You know, maybe if some of you would talk more, you wouldn't have to smoke weed and drink all the time excessively. I'm not talking about sipping wine. I'm not talking about if you want to occasionally indulge in cannabis. There's nothing wrong with that. But maybe if you talk more and get those emotions out. America needs to talk more. We don't talk, we text. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. Trump won because nobody was listening. Nobody was listening. And then another thing, too. This is another reason why Trump won. Trump won because Kamala did not have the numbers. Only 141 million people voted and some change. When there are over 328 million people within the continental United States, and only 141 million people voted and some change. And we don't find that strange. And then you wonder why Trump got reelected. I say congratulations to President elect Trump. Donald Trump is a genius. He's a genius businessman, and he's a genius at manipulating and managing the media. I don't even want to say manipulating. That wasn't manipulation, that was managing. Trump knew how to speak to people's hearts because he knows what people are going through now. And I'm not going to wish him no ill will. He is the president, and I respect that. And I respect the office of the presidency. And that is where I stand with it. I respect that Donald J. Trump is the newly elected president of the United States. And I look forward to the prosperity and financial abundance that he will help to bring back to America and truly make America great again. And in the process of making America great again, we as people have a duty to not only, we can't make America great again if we don't work on our own individual selves and our own greatness. And that doesn't include following celebrities, following musicians, following social media people. I don't mean that. I mean following your heart and following your spirit. And that's what America did. And it got President Trump reelected because he spoke to people's heart and he spoke to people's spirit. And that's just what it is. And for all of you people out there trying to weaponize President Trump's win back to the White House, for all of you people who try to use that and weaponize that against other people, you are doing yourself a disservice. Because why did you vote for the president anyway? Did you vote for you or did you vote to get back at somebody else? You know what I'm saying? I voted for Kamala Harris for me because I thought she would have made a good president. And I support women. and I support progressiveness. And I believe that women, I did it as a statement because I believe that women can do anything that men can do. And I support women. Okay? That's why I voted for her. I didn't vote for her to get back at somebody in my personal life. I didn't do that. Is that why you all voted for Donald Trump? Because you want to get back at a particular group of people? Or you want to get back at somebody? That's the wrong reason to vote. You're supposed to vote because you want that particular candidate to bring some change that will benefit you, or you think that they would be better for the country. So, for all of you people who are weaponizing President Trump's win because you're racist, whether you're black, white, I don't care. Because black people can be racist against other black people as well, or prejudice. But we cannot begin to make America great again until we correct our consciousness and make that great again. This is the occult view, and that's my take on everything that's been going on. I just wanted to say that, and now I'm done. Thank you.